I am fantastic, thanks very much. I'm just walking my dog, and there's nothing scary about that per se, but, otherwise everything is chilly and freaky and frightening in my world, so yeah.
What kind of dog you got?
She is a bastard blend of a Border Collie and a Lab.
Gosh.
Nice, big, old, arthritic, diabetic beast, but I love her to death.
I have a 4.5-year-old Great Dane at home.
Oh, my God, good for you, man.
Yeah, the thing is a beast, but he's the biggest baby, though. I mean, all he wants to do is cuddle on the couch with you and crawl into bed with you, and he's afraid of everything. He really is. Like a garbage bag tips over, and it scares him, and he runs into the other room.
Well, that's what everyone says about them, that they're the best apartment dogs because they really don't like to do anything except chill out, right?
That's all they like to do. That's it. They're. I think they think they're part human, part lapdog.
Yeah.
All right, well, on the phone with us right now, my boy from Fangoria Magazine, Mr. Christopher Alexander. You're in Toronto right now, right?
I am indeed, yeah.
All right, my city, man. Well, before I talk about horror and Fango, you just saw Kiss a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I've it's funny. The first concert I ever saw was 11. I went to see Kiss, but it was the bad Kiss. It was during the Asylum tour, so they looked like they stepped out of like a Mad Max ripoff or something, and they didn't have their makeup on, and it was a pretty weak ushering into that whole. They're my favorite band still as a kid, so then I finally caught up with them 2 years ago. This new revamped version of them, just before Sonic Boom came out. Now I've seen them like 5 times in 2 years, so. And, I kind of know Uncle Gene now a little bit, so some of the wizard behind the curtain has been unmasked to some degree, but that doesn't take away from the awesomeness of seeing that band live with all the bombs and explosions, and they just kick ass. They still kick ass.
They're one of the best live bands. Somebody said, I wish I could remember what the quote was, before you die, you need to see Kiss and or you need to go to Mardi Gras and a Kiss show or something like that. But it
Mardi
was
Gras, the Grand Canyon and Kiss.
That was it. That was it. It was the Grand Canyon and Kiss. Yes, that was it, man.
Yeah.
Now I know because you and Uncle Gene, as you call him, kind of close. Is the whole him and Shannon thing? Does he talk about that, or is that kind of just real under the table and he doesn't want to talk about his private life with you?
Well, when I say, Uncle Gene and I are close, it's not like, if I was moving house tomorrow, he wouldn't pull up in a truck and lift, my couch with me, But we do talk, I think, it averages about 2-3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, it's there's some projects we vaguely have on the go right now, which I can't talk about, but they're bubbling there. I don't delve too deep into his personal life. Gene is a very protective person. And, if you get too close to the atom, he'll just back off. So, if I'm going to speculate, I'll say that having met all of them, they are genuine. And when you go to their house, the way they interact with each other, it's authentic, with or without the camera there. But the camera's still there, so there's definitely some trickery in the editing and presentation of that show that makes it an entertainment. But I think at the nucleus of it, whatever you see on screen, the basic central drama and the way they behave and interact is authentic for sure. And I don't think there's any way those guys are going to split, man. No way.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. My girlfriend's telling me, they're going to break up. I'm like, you know what? It's Gene Simmons. It's probably to promote the show and engage the last episode.
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to have them too, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, my cushion for not getting married was telling my girlfriend, hey, you know what? When Gene Simmons gets engaged, then we will. Well, he sold me out because he got engaged. So now my girlfriend's really, she's the last couple days, no joke, like, dude, when is this going to happen? And now I'm freaking out because Uncle Gene sold me out.
Well, I think it left on a cliffhanger, right? So we don't know if she said yay or nay, I think, right? Am I right or wrong?
I don't remember. To be honest with you, I don't like watching Family Jewels because to me, Gene Simmons is the god of thunder with a harem of women around him, and it's tough for me to watch him in his personal life when he's doing business stuff because I as greedy and selfish as it is, I really only care about Gene Simmons from Kiss. Yeah. I don't want to see him behind the scenes. It's the same thing. I don't care how my hamburger got on my plate. I just care that it's there.
Yeah, but I agree with you to a point. Actually, to a large extent, I agree with you. I know the rest. I know Paul Stanley would also agree with you to a point too. But I'll tell you that if it wasn't for like it or not, as Kiss fans, we have to thank him for doing that because if it wasn't for that, there would not be that renewed interest in the band like there is now. I think really, and this is not bullshit. I think they're as big as they are now in certain circles. They're not the phenomenon they were, but they're as popular as they are. as they were in like '77.
Right. Well, they're still selling out, man.
Generation. Yeah. I mean, every show I go to, it's full. The crowd is insane, and they still bring the gold. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some Fango. I just saw online officially the Best of Gore Zone. Give me a heads up on that. What's going on with that?
Well, Gore Zone, if you've been reading Fango as long as I have, and 32 years the mag's been around, but in the '80s, and it was like around the Satanic Panic. Obviously being a metal fan, what went down there with Tipper and Al, with their flaming torches, going against heavy metal and horror films, and Tony Timpone, my predecessor, really had to wear a suit of armor with the mag and deflect a lot. He was a Geraldo. I mean, it was a big deal, right? Horror movies warping our kids' brains and Satan this, Satan that. So Fango, I'm not going to say we took a hit because we were the only man in town, but we were certainly called to task to defend ourselves. And so Gore Zone was a sister magazine that we launched to kind of compete with ourselves to some respect and really capitalize on that notoriety that we were getting. And the goal was to go the distance with as much blood and guts as we could. And also do stuff that was off the beaten path. Fango always had kind of a mandate to cover new horror titles, American horror titles, but Gore Zone kind of went down the highways and byways with some indie stuff and a lot of European, Italian horror, which, as we know, was at the time especially was the goriest stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
So people that loved Gore Zone like I did really loved it. In Ontario, where I'm from, it got thrown up into the porn racks. So there was a Linnea Quigley cover where she had a chainsaw on the front and was in a bikini, and that was a real dangerous, verboten cover. So when I was a kid, it was like getting Gore Zone was really like a mission because you had to really worm your way to that top shelf, and everyone always gave you a dirty look, and you loved it. You wore like a red badge of courage. So there's really warm, nostalgic feelings with Gore Zone. I always wanted to bring it back, but there was a UK magazine stole the title, and there's been market confusion as to what Gore Zone is now. That UK version is not us at all. So this is my way to kind of reintroduce the title and fish around and see if people are digging it. So we premiered it at Comic-Con. We brought 500 copies to Comic-Con just to see how it would do. We only printed 1,000. 500 to see how it would do. It's some of my favorite articles from the past, the 40-issue run of Gore Zone, plus a couple new things, as well as tributes to guys like Chaz Ballin and Tim Lucas, and even Tony Timpone as well, for what they did and the war that they were waging at that time. So I'm proud to say that we sold out at Comic-Con, and now we have, even less now because that thing has been online for 2 days and it's been selling like crazy. I think by probably end of next week we'll be completely sold out of this bloody Best of Gore Zone. So, are
you going to reprint it after that, or is this it?
Well, no, I want to relaunch the goddamn thing. But the thing is, I want to. Look, Borders is closing in the States.
Oh yeah.
And so every magazine, to some degree, is going to feel that a little bit. It's a major retailer. And when you put your mag on the newsstand as well, it's not a giveaway, but you don't make that. You only make a couple bucks per sale. So I'm like, you know what? If Gore Zone sells well at conventions and if it sells well online, who needs the middleman? Who needs the newsstand? And if we can completely sell this thing off our website, we can be as revolting as we want and not worry about any retailer raising the eyebrow or any little kid accidentally getting his mitts on it, right?
Well, Chris, I mean, who's going to read Gore Zone? The fans. And the fans are going to get it any way they can, whether it's online or in the store. So if it's just online, they're going to order it online. And you're right, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, if it comes back and all arrows are pointing to perhaps it will, then I think what I'm going to do is probably just have it like a collector's piece that you can subscribe to and that you can purchase online and that will be available at our convention appearances. And it's going to be, I promise you, everything that's cool about Fango still has to compromise to some degree with the mainstream. But Gore Zone is going to be the ultimate horror magazine that gives the huge middle finger to what's trendy and what's current. It just does its own thing and pleases the fans. So I'm crossing my fingers it's going to come back, and I think it will.
Good. I have not bought my Best of Gore Zone, but I promise you, most likely before the day is over, I will get online and I will buy my copy of Gore Zone, the Best of Gore Zone, because I've been waiting for this. I never got to read Gore Zone because I was too young when it was out. Yeah.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah. Huh.
I never got to read it, so this is exciting for me.
I was young too, but I was lucky enough that my parents were really liberal when it came to my tastes in art and cinema and crap like that. So I got exposed to a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have been exposed to, but there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? That reminded me of something. I want to tell you about this before I forget. A couple issues back, you did the Diane Thorne thing where you're talking about Ilsa.
Yeah.
The very first movie I saw, one of the first movies I saw as a teenager when I was watching enough horror movies was a good friend of mine. We rented Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS from the local retail store or the local rental store on VHS, and that opening scene where she castrates the dude was one of the only times where I not only got sick to my stomach, but I thought to myself, maybe I should not be watching this movie.
You know what? And it's funny, I got Ilsa late. I didn't see it as a kid. It was hard to find. I never found it on video at all. But, you always knew it was a dangerous title. I only saw it, I think I was in my 20s when I finally caught up to it. And even then, I had the same feeling you did. It still works because it's such a joyless movie. As campy as it really is at its heart and shot on the broken down sets of Hogan's Heroes and everything else.
Yeah.
It's still a really unpleasant film. The tone is grim. There's no heroes in it. It's just sexual violence, and she's great. I love the movie, but yeah, it's not a fun movie. You don't go out of that whistling a happy tune, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I don't watch it, in a good mood. You can't be like, what am I going to watch on? Maybe Ilsa.
Yeah, there's a naked girl tied to the ceiling while standing on a block of rapidly melting ice while a bunch of guys ogle her and drink and have a good time. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to show my Aunt Matilda this one. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I'll eventually have to rewatch the Ilsa films.